Hello, Storytime Tubers, and welcome back to a special episode of Lobotomy Corporation. We're not going to go to a day, so we're not going to get to gameplay, but I got to catch up on some story, because I've been missing out on, I think, 5 stories. So we got to get this done, because the next actual day, day 25, is going to be a big new thing that's going to be a lot of work. So I don't want to mix those two up. So that'll be the next episode, but for now, let's read the missing stories. We'll start with the Night of Despair, because we haven't looked at hers yet. And it's fairly short, so that's not so bad. Not so bad. So, an abnormality of despair, which has gone through a repeated cycle of trust and betrayal, leaving only black tears as its emotion. It was once a hero, a guardian of justice. It protected the king, the state, the city, and those in need. A knight must uphold the laws of God and pursue valor, chivalry, and justice. But after a long history of conflict, the knight realized there was nothing truly upheld. The truth changed people. The one who fought for justice became evil when they realized there was no evil left. The one who... That's the one I've been referring to. In between. Those of you in the future, you won't know exactly, but the ones in chat, you know what that is. The one who dreamed of a world of peace turned greedy and started devouring everything. Like them, many others who once thought to never change became altered and disappeared. Who said a knight never cries? Have you ever seen tears flowing from despair and not sadness? The endless stream of sorrow turned the eye sockets into empty shells. From inside the shells, black diamonds sometimes fall down like ashes. As if its will to protect still remains, it is obsessed with protecting even while imprisoned. All that remains was the hollow pride of a weathered knight. People who see the hero that can't abandon the past are filled with pity. When justice turns its back once more, several dozen blades will linger on without a purpose. Shame of failing again to protect, rage against the world, will eventually lead to the blade pointing to those he could not protect. A knight who wanted to redeem himself by saving others is now called a Knight of Despair. Forgotten from the minds of the people, just like the others. A nice little story. I don't think there's a whole lot of in-depthness. It does give you some tips or some hints on some other related abnormalities that we do not currently have in our facility, but they may show up at one point. Pretty good. We read the moth guy, right? Did we do this one? Yes, we definitely did this one. I remember that. But we haven't done the other 4. Alright, so the Alephs... Prince of Alzaians, they tend to have the most involved stories. Although, sometimes the backer versions are a little bit weaker on translation. So we'll see how this goes. So, humanoid creatures, armed with pink equipment. We had someone like that once upon a time. Its intellectual capacity allows it to verbally converse with a human. It seems friendly, at least during observation. It identifies itself as a special form from somewhere, and uses the pronoun we when it calls itself. It is continuously showing intention to help people. This is the audio recorded of the first contact, with omitted. Employee, who was the first one we sent in? Do you guys remember? I think I went in first, right? Yeah, I went in first and panicked. Employee Blue. I feel threatened because you are armed. And that bright pink disturbs me as well. It doesn't belong here. What's your opinion on the nature of humanity, BlueAnkylo? I think it depends on the person's experience. Why do you ask? It is a highly debatable topic, but this is what we think we should do. If a person is good from the start, we protect their good heart. If a person is bad from the start, we will make a good heart out of them and protect it. How are you going to do that? We can see the color of hearts. The color of human hearts are pink. By wearing the same color, we can blend into the people's mind. We will gladly get dirty for the good-hearted people. Wait, you get dirty? instead of the people. Is that even possible? Of course. I'm sorry, but I just can't trust you. It's awfully suspicious that you can see the color of people's hearts. If anything happens, just call us. Super trustworthy. Come on, guys. Prince of Alzayan's best friend. According to the recording, the abnormality's will to help employees is solid. We have yet to grasp detailed information about the abnormality. Perhaps actually asking for help could help us get more information. Ha! I haven't tried that yet. I haven't been brave enough, but I should try that, to be honest. I should try that. For science. However, just like any abnormality, we cannot blindly trust it. I'm planning to have a firearm ready while I pretend to request help. I'm sure that'll work. Just shoot it. A lot has happened up till now. To summarize the whole story, this abnormality is the best thing we've ever had. A few months ago, I tried my chance to ask for help, and I've been using it ever since. I got help about many times. My efficiency at work has become much greater. At this point, just looking at Pink soothes my mind. Those creatures bolster it in a way that even the greatest leaders can't. The abnormality will greatly improve our employees' quality of life. It's all for the best, guys. It sure helped that one employee that got the armor out of it. The redacted employee. Audio recording. You can do it again, right? Yes. Human is pink. Human heart is pink. And we wear the same color. We will drive away bad thoughts. Did you get it? Yeah, it's still in the best condition. We can put this abnormality to use again in our next depression. They're much better than human soldiers. Please consider us officially designate them as the company's fire team. For a side note, it got a bit darker, but I don't think that's a big deal. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's nothing. Human heart is... we must clean. Even a speck of evil must be cleaned. It seems a bit less energetic than usual, but it's going to be fine. Urgent report on the incident related to Army in Pink. We're filing this urgent report related to the drastic change in Army of Pink. We're still trying to grasp what exactly happened. Total number of employees has ceased. This is the audio recording. Assumed first casualty employee. Well, not BlueAnkylo this time at least, because it hasn't happened yet. That's from the future. An abnormality is broken out in the section. I'd ask you for help. Yes, we, Army in Black, blend into the human hearts and drive away good thoughts. What? That's not what you're supposed to say. Human heart is black. We must regularly clean. What are you talking about? You're creeping me out. We will protect you with our black love. Stop! I'll call the fire team. If you move a muscle, I salute you, ma'am. And then sounds of explosions and firearms, and everyone dies. So, I mean, this is why we don't want it to get out, obviously. It was known as Army in Pink at one point. But that's not its true form. Alright, we're doing good. Let's do an easy one next. The shoes. I mean, this is actually pretty long, to be honest. But still, it's not an A-level. We'll save the mountain for last. Actually, we don't even have all the information on the melting love yet. Elegant red shoes for women. The design is antique, but there's no telling where and how they were made. A strong urge to try them on is induced. The changes that occur when wearing the abnormality can first be seen in the eyes of the wearer. The next change observed is the victim is unwilling to take off the shoes. They will also act upon all and any desires they may have. If someone attempts to hamper them from acting upon their desire to take off the shoes will control its host, which sometimes leads to murder. Let's just stop there for a second. If you put the shoes on, you might murder someone. Might be careful with that one. It is unknown whether the host's will is involved in the process, but considering the sharp increase of desire and aggressiveness, the host's primal urge seems to remain intact. Excerpt from Counseling Log 43.3. So-and-so was a kind person. Well, they were kind of a celebrity, actually. They always told us that our job was something to be proud of, and they always knew how to deal with our abnormalities. But it was our biggest mistake to let them enter the unit. We didn't think that a pair of shoes would do any harm. The next thing we knew, they were wearing the shoes, grinning from ear to ear. It was strange. That wasn't a real one. It was... omitted. Blood all over the place. The corridor was echoing with the tapping sound of the shoes. I closed my eyes and pretended to be dead. I saw one of my colleagues' head rolling on the ground. The shoes stopped right in front of me and stood there for a long time. And then it moved past me. And I was knocked unconscious. I heard they had to cut their legs to remove it. No one saw them again, but some people who stayed here long enough would remember the incident. Footage from the corridor camera. So the work over there is all done. I finished with mine. The little match girl, which we don't have, is still in the same state. It's so frustrating. Let's grab a cup of coffee in the lounge. You know, I've been thinking about something for a long time. Let's talk in the lounge. I'm tired. Hey, why are you wearing those shoes? Only work boots are allowed during shifts. That's not important. The important thing is that we're alone now. What the hell are you talking about? Listen, I'm gonna catch a break in the lounge. Wait, what are you wearing? You didn't wear it, did you? I liked you for a long time. Damn it, take those off right now. You realize what you're doing? Oh, I thought about why you didn't like me. It was because of Emily, wasn't it? You were so busy checking out Emily that you didn't even notice me. Is that a weapon? And your ankles are bleeding. Please take them off. So all I need to do is get rid of Emily. Wait a moment. Won't take a second. Just stay right there. Please don't do this. Don't make me hurt you. If you wanted to stop me, you should have done it a long time ago. I feel bad for Emily, though. Someone was... Number 2 stunned number 1 with the weapon and went into the lounge. Fortunately, no one else was harmed, including Emily. Number 2 was soon removed from the company database. Just like someone else we know about. She was entirely aware of what she was doing. She admitted that the shoes only encouraged her to do what she always wanted. When she was suppressed by a response team, the shoes ran away, cutting itself off her ankles in the process. It took a total of 23 minutes for it to be suppressed, contained, and returned to the containment area. Number 2 died of massive blood loss. Number 1 only sustained minor injuries, but still quit their job, aka was retired. So they both died. I mean, it's Lobotomy Corporation. It's not the Happy Fun Club. Not Team Penguin. Alright, final research log. We received the report that employee some number was enchanted by the shoes and was roaming the corridor. We immediately ordered someone else to suppress her. She was a veteran employee with vast experience in suppression. We expected her to suppress a female employee with no trouble, but she didn't return, and when the others found her, somebody was unconscious with both her ankles severed, while the other employee was maniacally trying to remove the shoes from the severed feet. So they're pretty scary shoes. I mean, they're the scariest shoes I've ever heard of. No doubt about it. I gotta remember to equip that armor, and I can buy an axe. Great! Why are you holding an axe? I'm just gonna go deal with Emily, and then I'll be right back. So that's great. Now, we do have the full story. Okay, good. We can do Melting Love and the Mountain. Can I have the armor boss? We'll deal with that in between recordings. Don't worry. I'll do some re-equipment then. Alright. Get your story time. Couch comfortable. Grab a pillow. Take a drink. We're on to a second Aleph story. I'm sure it's not pronounced Aleph, but I'm also not even gonna try. So, this abnormality is based on the idea of somebody named Mull. Here you go, Robert. This one's for you. A melted slime. Its resemblance to human is revealed when inspected closely. The containment unit is covered in mucus secreted from the abnormality. I'd like to talk about the recent incident that everyone heard about. Yes, that dreadful incident when an army of slimes took over the facility for some minutes. There were several containers left in the lab, in someone's lab, which were not processed properly during the experiment related to something. I love how it's all redacted. If you know about redacted experiments, you would already know that the content inside those containers are merely useless leftovers that only prove that the experiment has failed. The researchers did not feel the need to get rid of them. Do not look inside the jars, please. Please! It was obvious that the newcomer to the research team had no idea what was inside of them. Marie found the pink slime in the containers and decided they could pose a threat. It is assumed she thoroughly concealed and kept them in something status. If my assumption is correct, the melted object in the container is the something of something. Uh-huh. The redacted of redacted. Redacted the redacted, and then they redacted that, redact. And then the redacted, redacted. That's exactly, now everyone knows the story. Good night, children. Sorry, I'll continue. I don't know if it was fortunate for us or not, but its memories, including the ones about the experiment, were completely gone, and it could barely speak a word or two. It was also mentally unstable. It became extremely nervous when employee Marie was not present. They became attached. Brother. So Marie had a brother who she lost in her childhood. Everything started when she felt attachment to a child-looking pink slime that follows her around. That sounds good. Marie shows an unprecedented rate of mental contamination. Yes, it was certainly the abnormality somehow affecting her positively in some way, but that was the end of it. Her colleagues started catching her odd behaviors. They tried to press her on it. It was the right thing for them to do. They were educated about mental contamination, and that someone disappearing at break time is a dangerous sign. But Marie didn't say anything to them and ended up being contained in the counselor's room until she opened up. Meanwhile, the slimy creature that had forgotten everything instinctively remembered one thing, that it had to get out of the facility no matter what happened. The abnormality once again felt extremely nervous when Marie didn't show up in time. It thought she was in danger. It was then that it decided to escape with her. See, fella, you live on with the melted slime forever. It was a rare bond that formed between the two. They cared for each other from the bottom of their hearts. Just a boy and his slime. Locked in the counselor's room, Marie gave up her right to remain silent, her Miranda rights, and began to reveal what she had done. How she kept the content inside the container hidden, how she was able to form a bond with it. However, she couldn't finish because she melted in the blink of an eye. Yes, literally melted. Completely. That was not even the end of it. The slime that was the employee a few seconds ago began to move. It was not a difficult task for it to slide under the door. Did it have a speck of human rationality? No. As if a newborn creature blindly follows its mum, it just moved toward the abnormality. It was not only Marie that turned into slime. Every single employee that had contacted her melted as well. Employees who questioned her had a meal together or worked together. All melted. Soon, the army of slime attacked employees. The mother slime abnormality that they love. Yes, with only love they kill. And my dear employees / viewers, I hope you all put on the gas masks that we distributed to you before we came in here. I wish no one would take it off out of boredom or selfishness. Stuffiness. Ahem. I must inform you that some of you are already infected by the slime abnormality. We did not give gas masks to some of you in the audience. We said that's because we were out of stock, but the truth is, it was to distinguish those who were infected or not. You may feel fine for now, but in an hour, your flesh and bones will melt, and your mind will disintegrate into the pitch black of nothingness. Then, you'll begin messing the facility up, killing everyone here. Yes, I know, you can't believe it. You feel so alive and clear now. Clear-headed. How could you melt into a slime? Well, you will. It's not your fault. Someone among you contacted the slime. You were just unlucky enough to be around them. It's like some grand manager was gambling with your lives. It's meaningless now to find the first infected. I doubt he or she had any idea how catastrophic it could become. They did it out of pure affection, or they fell for the lure of the slime girl. And non-infected who are wearing masks, please pay extra attention to your hygiene and report immediately when you see an employee acting strangely. You will get infected just as easily if you help one. Now, in your desk, there will be a 9mm pistol locked and loaded. What you have to do now is clear. We will not open the doors until the situation is taken care of. If you think this is too cruel, let us remind you, it's your job. It's in your employment contract. I hope to see you again once all the slime is dead. It's the perfect gambling monster. So there you go. That's the idea. It's going to be a little bit harder to grind out the armor than the typical Aleph. And finally, our last story time, the Mountain of Smiling Bodies. And according to Twitch chat specifically, this one may be relevant to the storyline. So let's pay close attention here before we end our episode. I would agree that the melted slime is perhaps the most difficult to contain. I mean, I don't know how hard it will be to stop once it gets out. Sorry for the mic bump there. One of the redacted ones is very, very difficult. It's just a single escape, but it's very, very difficult to stop and will eventually kill everyone. And the censored one is also pretty terrible once it escapes. This one just has more passive corruption, and you just can't ignore it, which is kind of the problem. Anyway, final story. Mountain of Smiling Bodies. It's so happy. Alright, settle in for one last tale. A tale of a mountain of bodies. This place is always like this, but just like any day, an accident of mass casualties occurs. The reason was the same as always. Someone escaped, and attempting to stop the escape brought on another escape, and so on. Luckily, the department was sealed off before it could get any worse, and everyone died in the same place. It became a mountain of bodies, literally. This was something no one wanted to clean up. Aw, really? Normally, it would have been taken care of within the day, but due to the horrific nature of the incident, the cleanup was delayed, with authorization from the Department Sapphira. Don't ask which department, I don't remember. Bodies left out in the open begin to rot within a few hours. Most of the bodies were maimed one way or another, so they rotted even faster. I guess you don't know it yet, but most of the employees here are very good at cleaning up dead bodies. Cleaning up over and over will make anyone an expert, even if you don't want to be. Let's say someone you were just talking to about dinner dies in a horrific accident. Manner, let's say. It's not always an accident. Now, rather than running away and vomiting, all that repeated experiences will help you clean it up. That's great. Well-trained employees. That's what you get for being level 5. Well, the mountain should have been removed quickly, but it remained in the department for a long time. Nature had a way of rotting, melting, and corroding everything. That's how it began. From the Mountain of Bodies, amazing, huh? It's an amazing name. I got something to tell you. The dead fused with one another, and they were all smiling. They shared body parts, at least those that were still intact, and became each other's legs, mouths, etc. But this didn't mean they regained consciousness. They only had one thing in their mind: flesh. When there's an announcement of someone's death, you must check to see if this thing has been quarantined. Once it gets a whiff of death, it will move quickly towards the smell. The smiling faces are strange, yet sorrowful. The more bodies it has, the more defined its shape becomes, and it is never satisfied. I'm telling you all of this because we're almost there. Accidents keep happening. Some may take time for a moment of silence when a death occurs, but most would only say, "Again?" and turn their backs. There's one thing we did well, though, and that's quarantining the department. You see, I'm the only one left. Did you learn anything from this story? What kind of lesson can be learned from a story as horrible as this, you ask? It's similar to most fairy tales. The lesson, of course, is don't be lazy. When my voice stops, after 3 minutes, come on in and get rid of your colleagues. I probably won't be able to talk much longer. I'm about to swallow a large bomb. Time's run out. Blood is flowing all around. I can see the smiling faces now. Something you don't see very often. Don't be surprised when you hear a loud explosion. Like I said, 3 minutes. I'm sure a bomb this size will be able to suppress it. The last body to fall will be mine. That's fairly terrible. Fairly terrible. Hopefully, when it does finally escape, we won't need to suicide bomb the entire team. But we'll see what happens when that eventually happens. I am definitely interested in seeing some of the escapes that we haven't seen. Just, I mean, we might like to, you know, set them off just with the intention of resetting the day just to see what happens, so that we kind of are prepared a little bit better, because I don't really know what some of them will do. I've never seen these guys escape. We're not ready for that at this moment, but at some point maybe I'll test some of those escapes out just for fun. Anyway, future tubers, I hope you enjoyed your lore episode. I will try to remember to read these as we unlock them in the future so we don't have such a backlog, but I do think a very important part of the game is, you know, diving into some of the stories, so it's kind of interesting for me. And hopefully you enjoyed it as well. So thanks for watching, I hope you have enjoyed, and have a great day.